Well, hello again and welcome to the Amex Stadium. Now, if you guys are tuning into this, you're either very angry or you're a masochist. Well, you might be an angry masochist. If you are here for a little bit of positivity, I can't really supply any. I must admit, I'm not going to try and kid anybody. I thought that was poor. I thought it was very poor. And I said during the week, didn't I? I said, I was asked this question a couple of times. I said it on my video from the Daily Mail newsroom last night. Newcastle can lose at Brighton. They can lose against a very good Brighton team, and Brighton were very good today, one young man in particular, and there's no need for panic. But it's the nature of the defeat, we've just spoken to Eddie Howe there, and he said he's got to have perspective, he's got to stay calm. It's been a very tough start. Okay, it's been a very tough start, and Newcastle go into the break with 3 points from the opening 4 games. That's fine, but it's the nature of the loss and the reasons behind it as to why I would be more concerned now than I would do if Newcastle come here and they're involved in a cracking game, 2 good teams, and they lose by the odd goal or 2. That today was self-inflicted, as good as Brighton were. And where do I start with that? Well, I'm going to start with the video. I've just referenced it there, the video I made last night when I said, have Newcastle signed what they really needed during this window? Have they improved their starting 11? Have they addressed, for me, what coming out of last season were areas to improve upon? They had a wonderful campaign, they were brilliant, they deserve everything that's coming to them with regards to the Champions League, the manager and the players, but from a position of strength, you strengthen. And I think Newcastle have this summer strengthened the depth, yes, but the starting 11, not for me. And I would even now go as far as to put Sandro Tonali in that, because I think players who are missing right now, Joe Willock, really bad news on him to come up as well, I'll give you an update at the end, and Sean Longstaff probably would do a better job than what Tonali is doing within the framework of the team right now. That is not an attack on Sandro Tonali, who I think will be a very good player for Newcastle down the line, but right now, that midfield with Bruno Guimaraes in there alongside him, it's not working. They can't play it together. I left America with a video questioning whether those two could play in the same team, and some of the responses were I was being too negative too soon. Maybe I was, but I'd seen something out there, and I didn't think they could, and everything I've seen during the opening weeks of the season supports that, and I thought that was really at the crux of the problem there today, because Newcastle needed, and I'm repeating myself, but I think I've really got to emphasise this point, Newcastle needed a number 6. I was speaking 2-3 weeks ago to a former Newcastle scout who now works for another Premier League club. He said the same. He said everyone in the game was convinced they'd go and get a 6. Even people inside the club were saying to me a 6 was the priority. We thought Sandro Tonali was maybe that. Listen, we're not Italian football experts. I thought he probably was a holding midfielder. He's not. He's clearly not. He's a player who wants to operate in the number 8 position, which what we all assumed would be the domain of Bruno Guimaraes this summer. The cost of having Tonali there is that Guimaraes has got to play in the middle, a position which I've never thought he was suited to, even more so this season when, if we're being brutally honest, he looks as if he's come back out of sorts and a little out of shape. He doesn't move the ball or himself anywhere near as convincingly as what he once did. What is the reason for that? Is it the lingering effect of an ankle? The ankle problem? I don't know. But Bruno, Tonali, and when you've got those two in there and you've got they almost both want to perform the same role. If you've got Joe Linton in there sort of covering for that, then okay if he's providing the physicality. But Joe Linton shouldn't have played today. He wasn't fit and he hasn't looked right the last couple of days. So that was a mistake. Eddie admitted to us in the press conference there that Joe Linton had declared himself fit yesterday, but you could detect the regret perhaps in his voice, and it was no surprise to see him come up after 50 odd minutes. But so right now there's issues in other parts of the field as well, and we've got to address the goalkeeper. Goal there just behind us. Newcastle. We'll start at the start. Newcastle started well. A couple of chances inside the opening 2 minutes. Alexander Isak was cold, really. He goes through on goal after 40 seconds, and for whatever reason, did the chance come too early in the game? He seemed to want an age to make up his mind as to what he was going to do. We'll never know what he had planned because the defender got back and nicked it from him. Tonali then pops up, and again, I'm not saying Sandro Tonali had a bad game, but for me right now, he is a player who he decorates rather than dictates. He flits in and out, and he's clearly a player of pedigree. I can see why supporters like him, but I just think he needed time to adapt to the pace of the Premier League, and we'll come on to his part in the first goal. And But the source of that is Nick Pope's kicking, and we know it's not his strong suit. And he rather than rolling the pass to Kieran Trippier, he opts to boot it downfield. The problem is his connection's poor. It lands there Stupian. He recovers slightly by making a save. The ball bounces loose, and I don't know what Sandro Tonali was thinking with the lazy leg. He's swung at it. Now that can happen, that can happen. Okay, he swung a leg at it. It didn't look good, but then recover from your mistake. The ball runs to Billy Gilmour, 20-25 yards out there, and Tonali just watches him take a shot. And Nick Pope, I mean, it's almost as if Billy Gilmour sent the bar a soap goal, which rather than a football. He spills it. Evan Ferguson pounces. That's his first goal, and from that point on, I thought, Brighton were the better team. Newcastle's energy levels weren't there. Their composure, their invention, their intensity, whatever you want to throw at them. I thought it was and it became not just that. It became a little bit shambolic, and there was one or two episodes of body language that would concern me. In the second goal, the number 6, the main, again, there's a pass. Billy Gilmour just splits the midfield with ease. Evan Ferguson gets the ball, and where the defenders go, the defence run away. It's absolutely staggering, and we've got a great vantage here, which press box is just over there, and we're watching there. Ferguson get the ball, and it's just, come on, what's happening here, guys? And he's allowed time to pick his spot, and he duly does, because he's a very good player. He puts it in the bottom corner. Brilliant finish, 2-0. Game has gone by that point. And again, it's where is the player? Newcastle have had problems with number 10s. I'm saying the same things, but because they're happening all the time. Newcastle have had a problem with number 10s, players in that domain all season, and that's where Ferguson scores that second goal from dropping deeper. The third goal, now it takes a deflection, okay, but the nature of the deflection, Fabian Schär's leg was listless, and don't think I'm overreacting here. I've got to analyse the performance within the merits of what I see and what I don't see. And Schär's it was so soft the way he put his leg out there, and that just almost captured the indifference. And I really didn't think I would see that in an Eddie Howe team. That's Steve. Those are Steve Bruce legs. You know exactly what I mean. That nature of just indifference, and that was the old Fabian Schär. And of course, Sven Botman's missing, and that, I say it tongue in cheek, that was one of Sven Botman's best games for Newcastle. He's been wonderful, but goodness, you really realise there today how much he really does mean to that team. And Dan Burn has been playing at left back, of course, down here against his former club, ordinary left back for Newcastle, where he's done brilliantly. You come into the centre of defence today, which should be his best position, says his preferred position, but maybe he's just got to a stage now where he is protected more a little bit at left back. I don't know, he was exposed last week against Liverpool, wasn't he, when moved to centre back after Botman went off for that late Núñez winner. So yeah, maybe there's something to look at there, and it comes back to the point I made. Newcastle down below, still on the bench, have got what will be 60-odd million pounds worth of young fullbacks. They're good signings in isolation. I can't quarrel with them. They've answered a problem with regards to the succession issue with fullback before it's become a problem. But in the here and now, what they need going into the season, it was a very tough start, a Champions League campaign. I think they've left themselves short. I really do. And I said that, and worst news to follow. Joe Willock, who is going to be out for another 6 weeks now. He suffered an Achilles injury, which is separate to the hamstring problem he's recovering from. And if I was Eddie and everyone was fit and available, I think you would go back to having Willock and Sean Longstaff in midfield. Now, this guy on my shoulder here is playing. He's got real intensity. Newcastle could do with him in his midfield. Media. Yeah, I'll be 2 minutes, mate. 2 minutes, no problem at all. Now, he did have purpose, didn't he? Yeah, they could do with him in front of the back four. Yeah, we best wrap this up. He was very friendly there, as most folk are down here. I have to say, yeah, just a word on Brighton as well. Good club, good stadium, real energy here. The parade Nanzu Fati on the pitch before the match, and then Evan Ferguson. Wow, 18-year-old. I asked Roberto De Zerbi afterwards, are you glad the transfer window shut? Because if Ferguson had done that 7 days ago, scored that hat-trick, they might have had a nervy close to the window. And to be fair to him, he answered yes, absolutely. I'm glad it has shut. But Newcastle really might be wishing the window's still open, because, as I say, I go back to that point, I just think that the nature of the losses, you can lose to Man City, you can lose Liverpool, you can lose to Brighton. Man City, I thought they were below par. Okay, you then go into Liverpool, and Liverpool's second half was just so unrecognisable. That there today, that wasn't an Eddie Howe team there today. And I asked him about the midfield issue afterwards, and he said, it's in its infancy, it needs time, and everything he says is right. He's level-headed, he won't panic, but while that midfield is in its infancy, his words, and it needs that time, well, why they're playing together? I just think it's crying out for something different in there. Elliot Anderson, for me, should have started the season in the team. I was on record saying that, and I just fear he's probably lost all that brilliant momentum he had from the summer when he was wonderful in America. He's been out the team now for 3-4 weeks into the season. He came on and he looks as if he's lost that zip which he really did return with. And Sean Longstaff wasn't fit enough to start the season in the team because of injury, but is he now struggling to get up to speed? So yeah, that one there today has left a hell of a lot of questions, and to a wider point, is it time to panic for Newcastle? No, of course it's not. Eddie Howe is a brilliant manager. They've got very good players. They've got Botman, Willock, Longstaff to come back, and they'll be fine. They'll be fine, but it doesn't mean we can't analyse and find fault with the way they performed there today, because that was worse than just a loss. That was poor. That was absent and lacking in a lot of key areas where certain things have been a given under Eddie Howe, like real application right until the end. And I don't think Newcastle had that today. Certain individuals, I really don't. And on the whole, I've given my merit marks there. I think the highest I got there was about 5.5, and there was a few 4s kicking about as well. So yeah, on that subject, please do go to the link, the description below here. Read my mail on Sunday, match report. There'll be lots more in the Daily Mail on Monday as well. Where we're just going to have to pick through, where do Newcastle go from here? Really, it's a huge season ahead of them. We kicked off the day by all of us scrambling for flights to go to Milan, Paris and Dortmund, and they don't look on the early evidence like a Champions League team, with the mitigation of the play good teams. But to bring the video full circle, you can lose against good teams and still look like a good team yourself. And for me, I don't think Newcastle have in the last couple. We'll end it there. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Loads more to come on this channel across all of our Daily Mail platforms as well. Been down there this week doing the transfer show in the studio. Lots of exciting news to bring you over the course of the next few weeks as well. Some new Daily Mail ventures too, so all to do with Newcastle United. The Mail really appreciate the value of Newcastle. They're a big story, big club, good players, newsworthy. Here we are, they're just going through a bit of a rocky patch at the moment, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they come out of it. Okay, take care guys. I hope that wasn't as painful a watch as the previous 90 was here. See you soon. Bye bye.